Uh, Good morning, teacher. We are Diego Fabián Baque Campo and my partner.
Julissa Intriago Vásquez, and today we're going to talk about human and natural wonders of Ecuador.
Okay, have you ever visited the coast? I have heard that it's one of the most traveled places preferred by locals and foreigners, tourists. Is it true?
Yes, I have visited the coast, and it's true that it's a place preferred to locals and foreigners to visit because of the huge numbers of beaches. So, as you can see, the coast of Ecuador is dotted with beaches that make even the most well-known traveler visitor swoon. For such a small country, you have the option to know marvelous beaches as Montañita, Puerto López, Salinas, Atacames, among others. And talking about beaches, you can also be able to see very near of you the humpback whales in Puerto López Beach. So yeah, and also you can take into consideration that I forgot to say that these whales are 15 meters long and they weigh up to 3 tons. So it's considered the 5th largest animal in the world.
Do you think there is someone that is still being one of the most highlighted characters in the coast, even when has passed a long time ago?
Yes, among the most highlighted characters, taking into consideration politicians, musicians, even saints, the people that is still being honored by the legacy they gave us are Eloy Alfaro and Julio Jaramillo. Alfaro's foremost political legacy are considered to be strength, national integrity, securing the integrity of the country and also the borders. And he increased the secularization of Ecuador. And Alfaro led the modernization of Ecuadorian society through the introduction of new ideas, new systems, new type of education, and public transport and communication, including the internet feed of the Transandino Railway that link Guayaquil with Quito. Yeah. They have told me the Sierra is on Andes mountains, right? Are there any volcanoes? And what about lagoons? Maybe the altitude is pretty high. It's cold in there, right? And their animals are furry to protect themselves from it. What do you think? And is it true?
Yeah, the Ecuadorian Sierra is on Andes Mountains, and this is very important for its ecosystem because in most of this territory predominates the cold. And the volcanoes more important in Ecuador are on the Sierra. And among the most prominent, we have the Pichincha volcano, the Cotopaxi volcano, the Tungurahua volcano, and Chimborazo volcano. And in the Ecuadorian Sierra comes with many natural lagoons, and one of the most famous is the Quilotea lagoon. And among its animal more representatives are the llama, the condor, the alpaca, and the bear of Vásquez.
Quito and Cuenca are in the Sierra, right? What you can tell me about it? I know in this region were many important characters, and what do you think are the most relevant in Ecuadorian history?
Well, Quito and Cuenca are from the most important cities in Ecuador by their impact in the Ecuadorian economy and culture. Both have an amazing culture and a beautiful infrastructure. And the characters, we got Eugenio Espejo, who was a medic, lawyer, and writer. And he was a remarkable person in his disciplines, but his biggest achievement was inspiring the separatist movement in Quito. And Jefferson Perez, who is an athlete who won a gold medal in Olympic Games in Atlanta in 1996, and he was the first Ecuadorian in the whole Ecuadorian history in won a gold medal. Yeah, así.
Oh, that's pretty good. I can see also you mentioned that Cuenca and Quito have great infrastructure, right? I can see this in the pictures. I love this fact. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. What do you think about Amazonia? Is it worth the visit?
Yes, of course, it's worth the visit. As you can see in the pictures, there are a lot of fauna and flora here, and its biodiversity, it's incredible. We can see in the we can visit in the Amazonia the wildlife and nature reserves as Cuyabeno and Yasuni Park. The Cuyabeno Nature Reserve is the second biggest reserve among the 56 national parks and protected areas in Ecuador. The Reserva de Vida Silvestre Cuyabeno is a very important natural reserve in the Amazonia, with ecological characteristics pretty unusual but perfect for being the habitats of hundreds of thousands of endemic species. On the other hand, Yasuni Park is very important due to its great On the other hand, Yasuni Park is very important due to its great biodiversity, and the scientists add the facts that Yasuni Park must be looked after because it's one of the most principal Earth's lungs, and it has the biggest freshwater reserve. Also, you can find in the Amazonia the Tayos Cave. It's a cave located in the eastern slopes of the Andes Mountains in Morona, Santiago, province of Ecuador. The cave was popularized by Eric von Dykens in his book called The Gold of the Gods, in which he claimed that the Tayos Cave was being one of the richest spots in the Amazon because of gold. In the book, he wrote that Janos Juan Morix had claimed that that he explored that cave and found mounds of gold, sculptures, and also metallic libraries. So it's very worth the visit. Yeah.
It's very worth, yeah. And the Amazonian citizens are quite different from the rest of the country, aren't they? Do you think they are very important people to improve the future, or are they mostly related to the past of the country?
Well, the citizens of Amazonia are pretty important and they are related to the past of our countries. Well, let me explain this. They are the minority and indigenous group called Konayi communities. They include 14 distinct indigenous people like Sachila, Kachi, Epera, Awa, Quichua, Shuar, Achuar, Chihuahua, Koan, Kofan, Siona, Sequoia, Zapara, Andoa, and Guarani, and also Afro-Americans. But yeah, they have their roots intact. They haven't changed through the decades or through the generations. They have raised their children with their traditions of the old people, of the ancestors. So yeah, so they are pretty important people for us.
It sounds like they are keeping the history of Ecuador.
Yeah, they still have our roots. Yeah, they haven't changed by any means. Okay, so we have talked about the coast, the highlands, the Amazonia, and now we are going to talk about Galapagos. People always say that Galapagos doesn't have an incredible ecosystem. Is it true? Can you tell me something interesting about this archipelago?
Yeah, the Galapagos Island shelter a fragile ecosystem and full of endemic flora and fauna. And it consists in 13 large islands, 6 medium islands, and 215 small islands. On Isabella Island, the largest of this archipelago, it finds the Sierra Negra volcano, which has the second largest crater in the world. And the Galapagos Island was declared natural heritage of the humanity in 1979 by UNESCO and 50 Underworld Wonder in 1989 by the CIDEM International. These islands are located 972 kilometers of the Ecuadorian coast.
That's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
And you said the Galapagos Islands are so fragile. What do people do for its conservation? Is the government working to protect it, and how?
Well, in Galapagos Island, there are any military bases, economic projects, or any industries. This is because people want to protect the ecosystem in this natural paradise. In fact, the government has established many projects and reforms to conservation and the administration of this archipelago. In this case, we could say the biggest human wonder in Galapagos Island are the organizations that work for the conservation of this fragile ecosystem, such as the Reserva Marina de Galapagos, Instituto Nacional de Meteorología, etc.
Okay, it's good that our government and people themselves are doing great things to conserve this marvelous place, right? So
Yeah,
this was a very interesting talk about our natural and humans wonder in our country.
yeah,
So
and
I
I
hope,
want to thank you to tell me these very interesting things. I want to thank you by this.
yeah, I also want to thank you. I hope you like it, and yeah, that's great.
Yeah, of course. Goodbye.